Good day, viewers at home. This is another lesson on solutions to Waec 2020 question. This is for question number 12. Question number 12 says the first term of a geometric progression is 3. The first term, that is A equals 3, and the fifth term is 48. From the previous lesson on geometric progression, fifth term will be AR raised to power 4, and that they say is 48. Find the common ratio. That means we have to look for the value of R. R is the common ratio. So if you take this, is supposed to be our equation 1, equation 2, but the value of A here is 3. So we can just substitute this 3 for A in this other one. We already have that A is 3. That means 3 multiplied by R raised to power 4 equals 48. Then if I divide both sides by 3, I'll be having 48 over 3. So R raised to power 4 equals 16. Then my R raised to power 4 will now be what? What's the meaning of raised to power? This one means we are going to change 16 to something raised to power 4. And the only number that we can raise to power of 4 that will give us 16 is 2. So R raised to power 4 is 2 raised to power 4. And in the rules of indices, when the powers are the same, it means the bases too are the same. So that means the common ratio is 2. And that is option A. Option A. Number 13, we have an inequality here. Inequality. This one says 1 over 3 bracket 5 minus 3x less than 2 over 5 3 minus 7x. This is an inequality, and don't forget that we also solve inequality the way we solve normal equations. We look for the LCM of the denominators. LCM of 3 and 5, that is the smallest number that both 3 and 5 can divide, which is 15. So we will multiply both sides by that LCM. 5 minus 3x, 15 multiplied by 2 over 5 into 3 minus 7x. So 3 divides 15 5 times. We now have 5 bracket 5 minus 3x less than 5 divides 15 3 times. So 3 times 2, 6 bracket 3 minus 7x. So now we open the brackets and then we collect like terms. 5 times 5 is 25. 5 times 3 is 15. 6 times 3 is 18. And 6 times 7 is 42x. So now we collect like terms. This is minus 15x. This one will come here, it will become plus 42x. Then we have 18 minus 25. Don't forget, 25 is crossing to the other side, so it will become negative. So minus 15 plus 42, that is 27. 27x less than 18 minus 25 minus 7. So now we divide both sides by the coefficient of x, which is 27. 27x over 27 less than minus 7 over 27. So my x will now be less than minus 7 over 27. Don't forget that this is the simplest form of this fraction because 7 and 27 don't have any common factor. And that goes with option D. Option D. That is the answer to this question. Let's take the next one. Question number 14. Question number 14. This one is on change of subject of formula. number 14. We are asked to make m the subject of this formula. K equals square root of m minus y over m plus 1. So how do we make m the subject of this formula? You know, for us to make something the subject of a formula, it means we have to change this letter. You know, here k is the subject because k is the only one standing alone. So now we have to make m stand alone too, while all the other variables will be at the other side. So the first thing we need to do here is to remove this square root sign. And how do we remove this square root sign? We square both sides. If you have square, you take square root. If you have square root, you square both sides. So if you square both sides now, this one will now become k squared equals m minus y, m plus y. If you square something that carries square root, the square root and the square will cancel each other and you'll be left with what is in the root. So now we cross multiply. If you cross multiply, we have k squared bracket m plus 1 is equal to m minus y. Now open the bracket. K squared m plus k squared equals m minus y. And since we are asked to make m the subject of formula, we'll select the ones that carry m to one side. This is k squared m. This one will come here, it will become minus m equals minus y minus k squared. So now we can see that m is common to both of them. That means we can make it m bracket k squared minus 1 equals minus y minus k squared. So now we divide both sides by the coefficient of m. The coefficient of m here is k squared minus 1 minus y minus k squared over k squared minus 1. So k squared minus 1 will cancel k squared minus 1. We have m equals, if we have two negative signs this way, we can bring it out and make it y plus k squared over k squared minus 1. So m equals y plus k squared divided by 1 minus k squared. Don't forget that the reason I change this sign to this is because of this negative. This negative sign up here will turn this one positive and make this one to be negative. That is, if we don't want a negative sign to appear. So let's see which of the options correspond. That is option B. Option B. That is the solution to that question. So the last question I'm going to take for this section is question number 15. Question number 15. Question number 15. We are asked to find the quadratic equation whose roots are 1 over 2 and minus 1 over 3. We are to use these roots of an equation to construct the quadratic equation that produces the roots. So how do you do this? There is a formula that makes it easier for us since it is a multiple choice question where it is only your answers that you want to see. We have s squared minus sum of roots multiplied by x plus product of roots is equal to 0. So it means if you find the sum of the roots, 1 over 2 plus minus 1 over 3, the sum of roots is 1 over 2 plus, so that is 1 over 2 plus and minus is minus. The LCM of 2 and 3 is 6. So 2 goes in 6 3 times. 3 times 1, 3. 3 in 6, 2. 2 times 1, 2. So 3 minus 2 is 1 over 6. Now, product of root means you should multiply 1 over 2 by minus 1 over 3. And that will give us 1 times minus 1 is minus 1. 2 times 3, 6. So having gotten these two values, the sum of the roots and the product of the root, we just substitute them back into the equation. So now the equation is going to be x squared minus sum of roots is 1 over 6. The sum of the roots is 1 over 6. X plus the product of roots is minus 1 over 6 equals to 0. So if you open the brackets, we have x squared minus 1 over 6x plus and minus is minus 1 over 6 equals 0. And now, for us to clear the fractions, we multiply both sides by the LCM, and the LCM is 6. So if you multiply this one by 6, you have 6x squared minus, if you multiply this one by 6, 1 over 6 multiplied by 6, 6 cancels 6, we are left with only x. Same thing here, we'll be left with 1 equals to 0. So this is the quadratic equation that produces those two roots, and this is option D. So that is how to construct a quadratic equation from given roots. So in our next lesson, we are going to continue from question number 16. Thank you. Don't forget to subscribe. God bless you.